What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my tiny garage. My name is Jared, and on my bench today we have my personal Echo PAS 2620 weed whacker, bush cutter, and I even have a leaf blower attachment for it. Haven't got to the pole saw yet, but we're working our way there. It's the end of the season here for me. I don't really anticipate using this much more this year. I think we're pretty much past the grass growing season, and we are now into the leaf falling season. So with that being said, I would like to go through this machine and kind of get it ready for winter, get it cleaned up maybe a little bit, and go do some maintenance to it before we put it away into storage. So that way next spring, when the weeds are 2 foot high and I finally get time to do it for the first time, I don't have to do this in the spring. It'll be ready to go. So we're just going to do it now, save some effort for ourselves in the spring. Let's go ahead and get started, see what we can get into. I'm going to start off here with the head side of things. Just kind of get some grass kind of cleaned off of here. These commercial power heads have a grease reservoir on them. You got to keep the gearbox on it greased. So that's the direction that we're going into. I thought it'd be kind of nice if I just took a minute and got rid of some of this leftover scrub from the year. Maybe sometime I have my power washer out. That would be a good opportunity to hit this probably pretty well. But for the moment, we're just gonna do our best and just real quickly kind of go over things, get some of that grass off of there. It's gonna easily come off as best we can. Not gonna be perfection, and that's perfectly fine. Our main point of concern is this plug right here for the gearbox. We want to make sure we can get into that and make sure our grease is full. One size fits all wrench, as we like to call them. Usually it doesn't take a whole lot of grease, but I still like to get in here to check them. Everything looks nice and pink in there yet. Grease looks good. We'll hit it with a little bit, but I really don't expect it to take very much. Just kind of shove our grease point in there, and we're just going to turn the gearbox head as we're spinning. Try to get some pumped in there as best we can. Looks like that's probably going to be about all it took. Took a few pumps, not very much though. Usually doesn't. If you don't do this, this is what helps keep your gearbox cool and of course lubricated. So it's kind of an important thing to remember to do. Get your gearbox all overheated, as well as you'll burn up the gears and splines and everything in there, which we don't need to do that. So I usually try to check it about twice a year. I try to do it at the beginning of the season or at the end of the season, whichever one I remember to do. And then I'll check it again usually halfway through the season just to kind of make sure. I do a lot of weed eating around here. I have quite a few areas that I do, so I try to make sure that everything is greased up well on it. Some of this dug out of here. Not going for perfection, just try to keep things kind of nice. If I remember sometime, like I said, if I have my pressure washer out here again before it gets down to too much of a freezing temperature, maybe I'll try to hit this and clean it up a little bit better, but for now I'm happy with that. Another part that's important to take notice of is these bottom bumper buttons. They're little covers. I can probably show you one here. Here's an old one I have, and you can see I've worn it clean through. Little holes in it and stuff. So I just put this one on about halfway through the season. I got some more on order. This one here has some life in it yet, but we can see we're not easy on stuff around here, so we go through those pretty quickly. Where I live here in the mountains, there's a lot of rocks. I do the best I can, but I can't always avoid them, unfortunately. They seem to just randomly grow out of the ground. I think we know how that goes, but we do the best we can. Other than that, that's really about it for maintenance on the end on this side here. These nice caps on to hang things up. It's good to keep grease on there. This is your inner connection point, so it's good to keep grease in there on that. But I don't do that till I hook it up, and there's a bunch in there anyway at the moment, so we're good to go there. Not really too much to do on these. The gearbox is the main thing. Of course, it's also important, to make sure that up in there is all kept clean, which it is. I don't see any string wrapped around or anything like that, so I think that's pretty well good. We can hang this back up till next year. That was simple enough. Do the same thing here on our bush cutter. Our bush cutter attachment has the same plug on it. I don't use this very much, but I still do like to, of course, check our oils and make sure everything is topped off. So while we're here doing it, we'll just go ahead and pull that plug out and see if it'll take any. Yep, there we go. Started to push back out for us. Took a little bit more. I don't normally do this one but once a year. I don't, like I said, I don't use this as much. So there usually isn't much of a need to follow up with it as severely. Get our plug back in there. Looks like this one here, we got a few little weeds wrapped around. So get in here with our long-handled pliers. See if we can't just pull some of them out. Just put a new blade on here not that long ago, and that looks like it's holding up pretty good. Like I said, I don't really use this very often, so unless I whack a rock with it or something, which I really try not to do, there usually isn't much to do for these. Just keep all the debris and such out of it best we can. This thing likes to pull in vines. Looks pretty good. Got everything dug out of there as best I can. Gearbox sounds good on this. I think we should be ready to put this one up till next year as well. This thing here definitely needs a bath. It could use a good old power wash, so I believe next time I have this out, that's what we're going to do to it. Give it a little bit of a well-deserved bath. But for the moment, we're just going to go through and just kind of do a quick maintenance on it. I'm going to check the primer bulb. As far as I know, this here was not dry cracked. This was still working good. This wasn't leaking at all. So we're going to keep that intact. Echo is always kind enough to supply us with a tune-up kit for these. I will leave one link down below in the description if you're interested. This will fit the SRM 2620, SRM 3020, 2620. Looks like a bunch of the variations of the 2620s and the 3020s. So yeah, I will leave a link down below for that. It comes with your air filter, your spark plug, and your fuel filter. And that is primarily all we're going to be doing here at the moment. So let's go ahead while we're on this side of things. Dive into the air filter, and let's just see how bad this is. I honestly do not think that I have opened this since the last year. Last spring, probably, would have been the last time that I would have had this even open. So this could be pretty bad. Brace yourselves. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look at that. You know, as an equipment fella, I should probably take a little bit better care of stuff. But isn't that how it always goes when it's your own? Honestly, it doesn't look... Oh, yeah. Yep, there we go. That filter is crusty. Crusty and falling apart. It is time to be doing this. Yes, sir. Yeah, we picked up a lot of dirt there in the spring. That's for sure. Move this over here off to the side. We're going to hit this with a little bit of compressed air. There we go. everything a fella could need right there. We like to pre-oil our filters, of course. That helps keep out some of the fine particles, helps keep some of those pre-dirt items before they get into the main filter. So I am going to take a little bit of motor oil. We're just going to get that worked into our pre-filter here. Don't need much, but we squeeze it into our filter. Get it worked in there. And then we'll go through and paper towel, we will squeeze out our excess oil. We don't need a lot of it. We just need enough to help catch the dirt. That's all. That's all we're trying to do. If we put too much in there, it will bog down your engine because it can't suck air through the heavy oil. So just want a light coating. Put that down in there. Then our cover, our inside cover, go in here next. Keep that in place. And last of all, our main air filter goes in there just like that. I would say she should be able to breathe now just a little bit better. It was a little bit on the rough side. That foam filter is falling apart and well within the means of needing replaced, that is for sure. While we're here, we might as well hit the spark plug. So let's go ahead and pop that out. Let's see how bad that looks. Probably got quite a many hours on this plug, so I'm interested to see what this is going to look like. Not too bad, to be honest. Not too bad. Probably time for it to be changed. But honestly, not too bad at all. Take our brand new plug, MGK. We're going to set this to 30 thousandths. Get our plug gap tool here. Set things up to 30. There we go. Should make a happy spark plug. Wonderful. Let's have a look at our fuel filter. Let's see how that's doing. This should be interesting here. See if we can manage to grab onto it or not. There, I might be able to see that line. See if I can manage to dig it out of there. Yep, I think I snagged it. There we go. Move our fuel out of the way before we spill it everywhere. On here, we'll just move back our little ring. Our little hose clamp. And we'll slide on brand new filter. And then gently push on this hose clamp. Can't stand these things. I wish they'd use the clamp style, but they work, I suppose. Looks like we got a hole in our fuel line. So we need to pop that back off of there. Trim a little bit off. Looks like when I was pushing it over, we made a little hole in it. So we're going to go right here above it and just cut a little bit off. We'll start fresh. Put our ring on there. Get our new portion of the fuel line on. And see if we can't slide that ring on there. A little bit of lubrication might help. I'm going to use just a little bit of the 2-cycle fuel I took out of here, which will have a little bit of oil in it. And maybe we can slide that ring on there a little more gently. Yeah, there we go. That helped a little bit. Perfect. With that, I'm going to just drop our fuel line right back down in there. And close this up. Very good. One of the last things I would like to check is I'd like to get in here this muffler spark arrestor and just see how that's holding up. They like to get clogged up with soot over time, and they will impact, of course, how our engine breathes. So I'm going to try to get this guard off of here, see if we can get in here to our muffler and take a look and see how that screen's looking. I have not checked that screen since I bought this. I bought this brand new, and I bet you this is probably, goodness, I don't know, going on quite a few years now, to be honest. So I'm kind of curious to see what this might look like. Without ruining everything, can we manage to get that off of there in one piece? So I don't really want to have to buy a new gasket if I can help it. Yep, there it comes. There it comes off there. Let's see what we got going on here. There's our spark arrestor screen. A little bit of carbon on it. Honestly, it's actually burning pretty clear. Just kind of wipe the back off. And to be quite honest, looks pretty clean. But while we're here, we will just go ahead and hit it. And if you're not sure how to do that, you just very simply take a pair of pliers in here like this, hold on to it, and then you just get this nice and red hot, which will burn all that soot off of it. Just like that. That'll burn all that carbon off, and you'll be good to go again. Should be able to then bolt on our diverter then. I think while we're here, I don't really have to, but while we're here this deep into it, I would be curious to know what our piston's looking like, and a good easy way to see that is to take off the muffler. It looks like there's just 2 bolts right there. I think we're going to try popping the muffler off entirely, and I'd like to see in there that piston. And just see what it looks like. Just see, kind of get an overall health check. You can kind of tell if it's running lean or hot, or how things are looking just overall. Yep. Perfect. There's one of our bolts. Might be pretty hard to see. Try to hold this in such a way that you'll be able to see it. But if you can see down in the bore, you can see the cylinder. I'm just pulling it over. Get a look at things. And everything is running really good. I don't see any scoring. Yeah, everything looks really good in there. That's good. That's what I was hoping to see. So with that, we can go ahead and stick our muffler back on. Alright, with that, we should be able to stick our outer guard back on then. Perfect. I think with that, we're pretty well good there. I believe we got all of our maintenance done. Air filters changed, spark plugs changed. Everything else seems to be okay. I've got a little bit of fresh gas in here. We're going to try it. We're just going to give it a quick start up and make sure that it does start and that it does run. So we'll give it some prime on the primer bulb. Got good flow. Throw her up on choke. Turn her on. And let's see what happens here for us. And there we got it. I would say that this thing looks all right overall. As much as I use it, which is pretty hard, it looks pretty good for the shape it's in, I suppose. Everything's maintained up. It's ready to go into storage. I might use this thing a little bit more yet to blow some leaves. Like I said, I have like a little leaf blower attachment for the end of it. It works pretty good. Kind of like this quick attach system that Echo offers. It's nice to be able to buy each of these attachments and put it to one power head, so you don't need 50 different power heads, such as you don't need a bush cutter, you don't need a weed whacker, you don't need the blower. You can just have all three in one. It's just a quick system. I've owned it for quite a few years now, and I've really grown to like it. It's been very nice and very smooth, and has always done me well in everything I've ever needed to do with it. So with that, I thank you guys for stopping by to watch. Hopefully you found it enjoyable to watch, and maybe you learned something. Drop a comment down below. Let me know if you did, or if you have any questions. I'd be glad to answer them the best I can. If you liked the video, hit that like button. It does really help out the channel, helps push it out there for other people to see, and helps us grow. If you like this kind of content and want to see more of it and don't want to miss any future uploads that we have, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss them. With that being said, I'm pretty happy with how this came out. I think we're good to use this for a little bit of leaf blowing that we have left for this year, and then we'll hang it up for the winter, and we'll be turning our attention to snow blowers here before very long. Let's sneak it up on us real quick. So I will catch you guys in the next video.